Hi, everybody. Welcome to our live show. I'm immigration lawyer John Khosravi coming to you every Tuesday, nowadays at 4 p.m. Pacific time. And that's 7 p.m. Eastern. We kind of made it easier for people in the Eastern time to jump in and watch the show. We're here live on YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, maybe Facebook. I'm not sure what they're doing with the algorithms, maybe showing or not. If you're on Facebook, let me know. And then also TikTok. We get a lot of questions from there. Unfortunately, the TikTok questions are always these people ask the question 50 times, hard to keep track. If you are watching on TikTok, the better way to get your questions answered, because it's so hard to keep track of what's going on there, is to join our YouTube page, Immigration Talk, or JQK Law. If you can search, you'll find it. We have multiple YouTube pages on clips and stuff like that, and Turkish page even. But yeah, we're here to talk about U.S. immigration. Take your questions live. It is general education only, not individual legal guidance. We'd have to get into your case in detail in private to really get into that. But we're here to answer stuff as it's happening. Let's see. Instagram is working. There we go. I think it is. End video. Okay. Well, let's jump into it then. Oh, before we start, if you're interested in a marriage green card case, we have the Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide. So we call it because it is what it is. It is the Ultimate Marriage Guide, especially because it's free. 40 plus pages of what's going on in the system. Get that, study that. Then if you want to schedule a consultation with us, go to the website to get the guide is marriageimmigrationlaw.com, marriageimmigrationlaw.com. And when you actually download it, there'll be a separate link then to join one of our live small group private webinars that we do on Fridays. That's outside this public venue. Just fill it out there so you know what kind of case or issues you have. And so our private webinar can be more specific to the audience there. Just go to marriageimmigrationlaw.com to check that out. But if you want to contact us, jqklaw.com/contact is the best way to do that. So let's jump. I love answering a lot of questions, so let's not waste any more time. XF asks, hey, it's been 2 months that I filled my EAD renewal and still haven't received extension notice. That's not good. That's kind of weird. I don't know what to do. Contact USCIS. Call them first, see what's going on, if they can find it. Good luck. It's going to be hard to do that. Hopefully you sent it by mail as traceable, so check that out, because you need the receipt to be able to get the automatic extension. And depending on what kind of EAD you have, I'm guessing it's an adjustment of status, EAD C9 category. But you got to call USCIS, and if it's still nothing happened, then get congressional help. Hate it when that happens. Hasn't happened to me a long time. Last time this kind of stuff happened was, I think 2021, the Form I-751 removal conditions. The receipts for those were taking like 3 months to get, but that was nationwide. All these colleagues are having that situation too. If you're doing a C9 marriage adjustment extension, nowadays they're issuing the work permit for like 5 years. So it's been about a year now. This issue isn't coming up anymore because we don't need to do renewals, thankfully, anymore. So I'm not sure exactly what's going on with your case, or even if it is C9, so it qualifies for automatic renewal. It's just not the C9 category that has automatic renewal, but this is why we got to go deep into cases to see what's specifically going on in your case. But best of luck. Just call them to start, or ask Emma, maybe something like that. If it's an online filing or you have an online account, potentially you contact them through that. You don't have a case number yet for the new case, so I probably can't connect that one, but it's a mess. Joanna asked, my husband is a resident. We went to Mexico for vacation. Upon a return, he was asked about using different name back in 2004 when he first ran into the country, but he had a waiver and got his green card. The officer told us he will always go to secondary because of this normal enough for his green card. Yeah, unfortunately, it's going to pop up. You could do a thing called DHS trip. Go just in Google, type in DHS trip, and then you could make a kind of a complaint to say, hey, we got a green card. We've gone through this. Let us alone. It may work. It may not. If it works, they won't tell you. If it does work and they stop hassling you, it could always come back again next year. That's the best you could do, really. Potentially when you're a citizen, it come up. Unfortunately, this kind of stuff with the computer systems is really hard to get together. X-Frame says C9, I have tracking number, and it says it was delivered to Vermont. USCIS, it's been a lockbox, wait to be processed. Yeah, that kind of sucks. You said 2 months for that? That's not typical for that to happen. Oh my God, I'm sorry to hear that, XF. That's terrible. Get congressional help. Contact your local congressperson. Go to their website, see how their contact methodology is, because each one's different, and say their situation so they can get help, because that's horrible as you're going through. Sorry to hear that. Lakshmi asks, when a green card holder applies for under 21 son green card, that is the F2B category, MVC approved all the docs, waiting for interview. How long does it take? It's up to the embassy how long it takes. So it could be anytime. Okay, let's go answer some TikTok questions. Let me get the little brighter here so I can read these questions better. My phone is too dark. All right. So Usman asks, I have a visitor visa. How to change to a green card? You're probably not gonna be able to do that, but we need to see your background unless you marry a U.S. citizen or have really nuanced like U visa, T visa, or something like that. It's probably not gonna happen. C user says, which is better, CRBA or certificate of citizenship? Both. CRBA is probably better. What are the pros and cons of each? Can you apply for both? Um, Typically, people don't apply for a certificate of citizenship form N600 because it's expensive. So we typically, if someone has a CRBA, we don't bother because they've done the research for CRBA. CRBA is a consular record of birth abroad. When you pass down citizenship to your child who's born abroad, you apply for a CRBA at the embassy. Now, one thing is really important, and for some reason, I get a lot of hate when I say this, and people just get angry when I say this, but if you're a U.S. citizen, you don't necessarily automatically pass down citizenship to your children. There are minimum requirements of residence in the United States. So let's say I was born in the U.S., I immediately left, which is a lot of people. I never came back to the U.S. I do not automatically pass down citizenship to my children. I didn't live in the United States long enough, so it's supposed to be 5 years, 2 of which after the age of 14. Don't quote me on that. I haven't read it. I think that's it. And if you didn't satisfy that, you don't pass down citizenship. And so when you go to the embassy to give a passport for your child, you want to apply for CRBA, a consular record of birth abroad, and they will check to see if you satisfy the requirements. They'll put in the record. And that CRBA is pretty solid. If you have that, it's good. But I'm not sure if you can file for citizenship because no one ever does it because they don't want to pay it. But I'm pretty positive you can. If you want to spend the money, do it. Why not have more? Because CRBA is issued by the State Department. Historically, State Department is like 0.5% more loosey-goosey with issuing passports than the DHS, Department of Homeland Security, is. They're more strict. So you want to have the more strict one, but again, you got to pay extra $1,000 or so, whatever the fee is right now for Form N600. So take it as well. Mike Perez has immigration law state specific. No, immigration law itself is federal. Now, sometimes there'll be state specific stuff that pops up for immigration law. For example, it might be criminal stuff that's related to your state or very specific family marriage kind of stuff. But 99% of the work that I do, for example, it's all federal. So that's why my clients are all over the place, all over the world. All this stuff we do, we mail stuff to the government, we email them and that kind of stuff. So it's essentially immigration practice is a federal practice like bankruptcy law or federal trademark law. The state stuff may get sucked in, usually doesn't, but that's that. So, hey, you get hires, Mike, give us a call. Hano says, and best email, go to the website, jqklaw.com/contact. If you're interested in a marriage case, download our guide, marriageimmigrationlaw.com. Hono says, what's going to happen if I got married after my citizenship interview? It doesn't really matter, but let them know when you go to the oath ceremony, just so they know. Chris Smart says, can someone parole on 212 D5 just status in the United States? So that's a good question. Probably. We got to see what kind of parole exactly was happening, but probably. C user says, thank you for your very comprehensive response, Attorney Kostrov. You're welcome, C user. One of our regulars, actually, C user. Good to hear from you. Attorney, yes, I think it comes down to USCIS for State Department. Thank you so much. Always amazing stream. God bless you. Thanks so much. It's really amazing. I was doing a podcast interview with a person who has a business development firm for marketing lawyers. And I was just saying, like, it's really fascinating. We have this live, doing it for 4 years now, every Tuesday, or I repeat every week. It was Wednesdays, then Tuesdays at 5, now Tuesdays at 4. Timing varies, but every week. And God bless you. And I was just saying, like, it's amazing. Like, it's like back in the day, for younger people, they don't know this. So back in the day when we had televisions, if we wanted to see a TV show we had to be in front of the television at 8 p.m. to catch the show. If you want to watch The Simpsons, 8 p.m. Thursday night, for those who know, 8 p.m. Thursday, I think it was in living color, then it was Simpsons or vice versa or something like that. And the show is kind of that way. We have a regular audience that comes in. They ask questions, good questions. So they know the questions that annoy me about timelines. So that's that. Chris Mars says, adjustment status to marriage, would that count for someone D2, D5? Very probably it would. I'll need to review it. There's a different kind of parole that happens for asylees. That's like another category. Never able to figure out the full situation. That doesn't come up with our cases really ever. But a D5 is a parole for 245A purposes. So it should work, but I don't want to say 100%. I just haven't submitted a case like that. So I'd want to do more research. I've researched over years, and colleagues have said it's okay. They've done it. But I haven't filed that particular kind of parole. I've done DACA AP parole, but the D5, when you're at the border and if you claim asylum and you enter, that might be, I think, a D3. It gets too technical, so I don't want to say for sure because I don't deal with people who have asylum cases typically for adjustment cases. So it's not I haven't submitted the case, so I don't want to say something certain for that. All right, let's go to Instagram really quick. Xferny is okay. Benny asked, how long can I process Can I process for my husband after divorce recently and just remarried in a few months? I need to know your background, Benji, because if, like, for example, you got your green card through marriage, that could be problematic. If you remarry and file for another spouse that quickly, they may look in the previous spouse to make sure it wasn't fraud and not getting paid for a green card. It depends on your background, so I'd really have to look into that and talk with you about it. Pochita says, our status changed to attend interview if needed. Does this mean you can get interview scheduled soon? I never heard attend interview if needed. I've never seen that status before. Ariana says, does the Joe Biden bill help those waiting for I-130 from outside the U.S.? No, unfortunately, it's for people who are in the U.S. Doesn't help the people outside. Yeah. Mike Perez, thank you for answering. I want a petition for my wife and 2 stepkids who are currently living in the Philippines. What can we expect to pay for the retained immigration fees? My guy, that's too complex. We got to sit and analyze each case and what's going on and go into it. This isn't the format to go into that kind of stuff. Private consultation is needed. All right, let's go to TikTok. Does having a child together give you a better chance of getting approved for a visa? I think you mean a marriage green card, because visa doesn't, it depends. There's like 100 kind of visas. So it does help for marriage case. So the marriage rule. C user asks, if a person on a tourist visa enters the U.S. and gets married to a U.S. citizen less than 60 days upon entering the U.S., but leaves the U.S. through consular processing at a later date, will that person have issues? Maybe. There's a 2% chance. I wouldn't want to risk it. In that scenario, we just tell them to adjust. Potentially you get a bad officer. It could happen. Chris Mar says, thank you. We'll be subscribing. Thank you, Chris Mar. Appreciate that. TT says, I just received a 5-year work permit. When should I expect a green card interview? You shouldn't expect, there's no timeline to expect it. Arash says, if I'm 18, can I sponsor my fiance husband, or do I need 21? Marriage cases can be done if you're 18. It just has to be, marriage has to be legal. Fiance visas, I'm pretty sure it could be 18 too. It should be 18. I don't even think there's a time limit for marriage cases, except the fact that, like, you have to be legally able to get married. So if you're like 15, if you're living in a state that doesn't allow you to get married, or so the fiance visa wouldn't be possible. So they had this issue pop up because, particularly for Pakistan, people were marrying women that are really young, but in Pakistan it's okay, and then certain states in the U.S. allow for young marriages too, so it was okay. But it gets complex. 18 is probably okay. I have to look at the instructions to confirm, but I'm pretty positive. Mike Perez says, don't forget to drop your contact info or best way to reach you. I'll be in touch. Sure, Mike Perez, jqqlaw.com/contact. I'll type it in here. It's on, if you're watching on YouTube, it's there, jqqlaw.com/contact. Fill that out so we can reach out to you and fill it out, but I posted it on YouTube as well. Let's see. C, does a DUI disqualify you for a new Biden policy? It's discretion. I can't say for sure. It depends on the totality of the circumstances, because the new Biden policy is, again, discretion. Having trouble connecting. Oh, please don't let the internet crash again like it did the other day. So internet it's just a mess. Hopefully y'all can see me and hear me. Arab Turk says, why is it hard and it takes time for my husband to get in the U.S. for the I-130? By the way, he's from Yemen. It's just bureaucracy. And for Yemen, it's going to be even worse. Just try to get an embassy interview. Emma asks, how long does the I-730 take to get approved and hold the process? 3 months to 3 years. We have cases approved after 3 months, and we had a consult. Somebody came. The I-730 has been pending for 3 years and nothing. Arash says, I'm 18. Okay, we got a lot of repeat questions. Please don't post repeat questions, or else we're just going to mute you. C user asks, if affidavit support was submitted early in the process and later on the financial situation changes, will USCIS ask for updated income forms? Will I need a co-sponsor time? If you're doing adjustment of status in the United States, I've never seen them ask for it. We used to always take updated info to interviews. They're probably not going to do an interview nowadays unless Trump comes and changes it. I never seen them ask, frankly. They'll just let it go. If you're dealing with consular processing at the embassy, they will ask. But if you're doing with USCIS, they can ask. But I've never seen him actually do it. Dr. Law says, hello, sir. I applied for a reentry permit 1 year ago, but still in process. It takes so much time. Yeah, reentry permits could take anywhere from 3 months to 2. I have one that took 3 years. By the time they got the reentry permit, they had already returned and started living in the United States. So unfortunately, the reentry permit process is a mess. You're welcome, C user. Dr. Lala answered that. So on people on TikTok, instead of asking all the same questions 50 times over and over again, just filling up the feed, just follow us on YouTube, ask once, and it's easy for me to read it there. It just ruins the show by asking the same question 50 times like that. And I'm just not going to pay attention to their questions. Pochita asks, sorry, my husband wanted to answer the question again. Our progress says 3 steps, attend interview if necessary. Does this mean we get an interview scheduled soon? I've never seen that, but I just disregard anything they see on these websites. It doesn't matter because it's worthless of what they say. It's never reliable. So if you've done the steps properly, you just got to wait, and that's about it. I don't remember seeing anything that says attend interview if necessary, but I don't read these notices much anymore that they have online because they're worthless, and timelines as well. You can't rely on them. We had a case. We got an RFE saying we didn't send the medical checkup in, and we did send the medical checkup. Client's like, "I'll get a new one." I'm like, "No, waste your money. Don't do it." Like, "No, we'll do it." So we contact them and say, "What are you talking about?" Then 2 days later, they take the RFE back, and we contact again to confirm that it's okay. What's going on? And then next day we got approved. So it's just a mess. Newhouse, and this is all last week. Newhouse says, "Can my brother come under a visitor visa and do adjustment of status and have a green card?" Probably not. First of all, you can't use a visa, tourist visa, with the intent to come stay in the United States. That's fraud or misrepresentation. Secondly, your brother needs to have a way to get a green card. If you're a U.S. citizen applying for him, that process takes 15, 20 years. Your brother will not be able to stay here long enough to be able to carry that case out. So it's most likely not going to happen. Karma says, "My husband is an American citizen. USA sent him a request for biometrics." They sometimes do stuff like that. Trump was trying to make it so everyone has to do that too. It might be a mistake, but I would just follow it. Just do it, unfortunately. We got the repeat questions. All right, I'm going to start muting people just to be able to do this properly. Raphael asks, when you mute people, it just messes up the organization. So people, please don't ask the questions multiple times. It just ruins the user experience. All right, so sorry, TikTok people. I love asking questions because you got a lot, but people abuse the system, so you don't get attention. If you want, throw some bad attention to them. Jada asks, "What happens if you miss your interview and they denied your application? I put a request in prior change of interview." It's really bad. If you're doing a USCIS case, you miss your interview. It's really hard to open and fix that. You contact them. You do a congressional help. You beg and plead. It's you can't be missing USCIS interviews, though. It creates a lot of problems. Please, can one be denied during a K-1 visa interview? Yeah, and why not? Ligma asks, "When can I file for my undocumented wife with this new law just passed?" The law is not, it's not a law that's passed, it's an executive order, and that's not going into effect, and we don't have all the details till end of summer. So schedule a consultation, or what we're saying is email us. We have your email info, and once you have the proper information for this new executive order, how it's going to work, we're going to do a private seminar for those people. Go to jqqlaw.com/contact and just put in that you want to be added to the list so that we could do a free session for that. C user says, "You need a moderator to help moderate." I had a moderator, and their work was, they're moderating well, but the rest of the work for the office was terrible, so we fired them. It just became easier to do this, to just do it myself. But yeah, a moderator helped me a lot to just focus and not get frustrated over bad questions or people abusing it. But it was just too much work having the person do it, so we gave up. Soyman said, "Do I have to sign an affidavit if hospital pays my medical school and I go to work for them after they return?" That's not as such immigration situation. We can't talk about that here. Can someone change status for family petition ever come to USA without visa now? Maybe, but it depends on a whole lot of factors. British Philip says, "What if I don't want to be a citizen? How do I renew my green card?" Just file Form I-9. You renew your green card if you have a 10-year green card. Can I get my work permit after my biometrics without medical exam? It's possible, but it's up to government to issue the work permit. Age says, "I filed the I-90 April 2022 for 10-year renewal. Still waiting." Yeah, that's just USCIS. Shime says, "Does applying for TPS designation to my country have an effect on my asylum application for asylum?" No. Blair says, "If I'm undocumented, can I fly within the country?" Yes, but you never know. I can't guarantee it's fine. So what I'm going to do now is essentially anyone who asks the same question twice, I'm just going to mute it to just get it out quickly. So sorry, just you can't ask questions twice. Just ask once. If you really want to ask, you got to go to YouTube and ask there. Which month and year is going to I-130 cases? That's not how it works. So if you already have if you look at the visa bulletin, there's that. But how long the I-130 is going to take itself, it just, you never know. Respectfully, Wiki Kiki says, "Got paid $75,000 to marry someone for a green card. Went to file for divorce." Well, that's fraud. So shouldn't do that. Anuba says, "Can someone change status?" We're going to answer that question. A-Life says, "Can a denied I-485 for a spouse be reopened after they appeal through executive order?" Depends on what the denial is based on and what's going on. Throwback says, "How quickly can I get a fiance visa once my application is approved for an interview?" It depends on the embassy when they want to schedule you and approve your case. So we don't know. It's not up to us. Irshma says, "Which month and year is going on to," I don't know. I Love America says, "Why are you helping these people beat the system in our country? Amen to you." How am I helping people beat the system? I'm telling you how to legally use the process. That's exactly legal. And people are doing fraud, I'm saying don't do fraud. So, and they don't misuse the tourist visas for fraud. Don't do marriage fraud. So I love America. Like I'm loving America. What world are you talking about? Username 14 says, how can I get a green card without a job sponsorship and F1 status? NIW, marriage, if you have asylum claim, investment, different things. Blair says, are there some airports that are a problem or unsafe? I hear different things. There are. I don't want to come here and bash certain airports in a public setting, but there are certain airports, CBP is such Customs Border Protection, that are more harsh or frankly disrespectful in their culture. So we avoid them. It's not something I'm going to come and bash on the public forum like this. Okay. C says, how many times can you renew the reentry permit? Do you have to re-enter the U.S. to renew it after 2 years? Every time you file a reentry permit, you have to physically be in the United States. There's no limits on how many times you can get a new one. But what happens is if you're outside the U.S. for too long, the renewals will stop being for 2 years. They'll start being only 1 year renewals. And they can always not renew it. We've never renewed it more than 3 times or something like that. But the more you're spending out time, the less the renewals lengths will be for. And then it becomes useless at that point. If you got to come once a year, then what's the point of filing for reentry permit? And you cannot file for reentry permit while you're outside the U.S. and be in the U.S. Do you think a new Biden bill law will get approved? Well, it's not about approval because it's an executive order, so it should get in, but you never know how the final look of it is until they publish it. You're welcome, see user. Veed says, my case for green card is being actively reviewed since how long to wait? There's no wait. There's just, you got to wait. There's no timeline. With a DUI dismissed, can I file for citizenship? I got to review the order and record of that. I can't just tell you yes or no. Vinva says, what is DACA status? DACA is not status. DACA is deferred action for child arrivals. It's for certain people that enter the United States under a certain age and maintain status. They didn't have issues like with criminal stuff and they went to school and all that. And the government says, we're just not going to focus on you. We're going to act like you're not there for now. It's not status. And that's very important legally. There's all sorts of issues, like things that come from that. So even me, I'll sometimes say DACA status, but it's not technically right because status, if you have status, that gives you the rights to do certain things that are not permissible. But yeah, DACA's not status. That's that. Throwback says he's a lawyer. Oh my God, beat the system, lawyer. I love him. There you go. Just told all these people how to get a green card. They can marry somebody. That's easy. I love America. Like people marry people all the time. Like people get married. You know, this. What are you talking about? The people come here to fall in love. It's not like they're switching a system and people fall in love and get married. Which what in the world are you talking about? Braid says, married U.S. citizen can I apply for my citizenship after 3 years of being an LPR. If you've been married and living with your U.S. citizen spouse, yeah, you could do it after 3 years. User 8 says, hi, sir, my refugee travel document expedited requested denied. Can I appeal? I'm not sure why they would deny it. The expedited requested denied. Can I appeal for that? You can't appeal an expedite because it's a discretionary thing. You could request another expedite, but that's it. Blair says, so airports with CBP are safe. No, CBP is Customs and Border Protection. Every time you enter from a foreign country, from international to the U.S., you have to go to Customs Border Protection. And so that's automatically every airport that's international. You got to deal with them. Some airport cultures for CBP are better than others. Some are really trying to get you from historical experience, and some are really cool. Now, each individual officer is different. But I have relationships with certain airports right now. We can just talk with the director and stuff, and they're understanding and very respectful. And some are not. They're really disrespectful when they talk. Just some cops, most cops, honestly, with all this stuff, anti-cops going on, most cops are pretty cool. I talk with them. I know cops my whole life. I have friends that are cops. But then there's some certain cops that pull you over and act like total jerks. And so that happens, particularly at certain airports, which I don't want to mention here, but that happens. World Boss says, can I get my work permit after my biometric? To answer that question, it's not related. Nimby says, sorry, I should have specified. What is the update on DACA? The update on DACA is essentially if you have DACA, it's not DACA itself, but I mean, it's DACA. They're saying you could change. They're doing what I said you can't do, which is DACA is not status, so you shouldn't be able to do certain things with it. But now executive order in the 2 sentences that they wrote says you can, but we don't have the exact outline for it, so I got to correct myself. And that's really it. And people who essentially are been in the U.S. long enough and married, they could do certain things. User 19 says, hello, it's been 5 years I filed. I don't know what kind of case you have. So Shocker says, BIA remanded my asylum to IJ back. We don't handle court cases, so I don't want to comment on that. Blair says, no, I mean traveling within the country, like LA, New York. So yeah, with domestically, it shouldn't be a problem to travel regardless of status. There was one case where people were going to San Francisco, hint, I was talking about airports, and the CBP of San Francisco went on a plane and asked each person coming out to show their papers and make sure they have status. That's a constitutional violation. They got smacked back and for doing something so ignorant like that. But papers, please kind of situation in America. You can't do that. But I mean, who knows? But they got hit back on that one. But typically, it's not a problem. but we don't recommend it because let's say you're traveling from New York, from LA to Atlanta, and then the plane has an emergency trip. They have to go down to Mexico. You're not coming back if you don't have proper status. So that kind of stuff that happens. CU says, whoever is hung up on marriages should watch the proposal movie with Ryan and Sandra. I like how the immigration officer looks like Mr. Smith from Matrix. Hey, that's right. Joel says, hi, John. I just got an O&A visa. Congrats. How long should I wait to apply for EB2 to maximize? There's no how long. It's just if you have a good EB2 NIW case, you do it. But it's just kind of a strategic thing depending on your life and how long your O1 is, when you got to travel, how much success you've had. Let's say you're going to have a reward that you're going to win in 3 months. Should you wait to get that? So, Joel, it's really case specific to see what's needed for your particular case. It's not a general blanket statement I could give. The Maldonado Vlog asks, what's the fastest process for K1 visa or CR1 visa? The foreign bride is pregnant. There's no fastest way. There's just both are the same time to get in the U.S. essentially, from my experience. Gina says, my husband has reinstatement, deportation order. Can he adjust? I would need to review the case. You don't typically handle people who have deportation orders, but attorney office could schedule consultation to look over it. Ryan Addy says, what's going to happen to my B1, B2 visa if I change status gets denied? It's probably, if you overstayed 6 months at that point, it's going to cause an automatic voiding of the tourist visa. So you have to get a new one next time you come. And then you'll start accumulating unlawful presence. So you got to, if you stay longer than 180 days, you get a 3-year bar once you leave. Can a P1 visa adjust the status of green card while in the United States? Yeah, it's possible. Depends on your case, but it's possible. Braid says, married filing taxes separately is going to be affect my citizenship. It doesn't per se affect your citizenship. Sometimes officers can hassle you, whether your relationship is real or you've been living with your spouse. But overall, okay, it shouldn't affect it. But who knows? How if you get a bad officer, it's not. I wouldn't stop you from doing it if that's the thing. But for example, if you want to file for citizenship faster, like after 3 years instead of 5 years, you have to show that you've been married, living together, and having taxes get helps that. Some officers, every once in a while, there'll be an officer says, this is wrong. I can't believe you did that. It's like, dude, I want to file taxes separately. What's in your business? So I've seen that be annoying, but it's not a reason. You got to challenge them. And that's where having a lawyer comes in and push them back. You can do it too. Just people are maybe uncomfortable or worried about that. C user says, when a person travels to U.S. territory like Puerto Rico, is it considered a trip outside U.S. for immigration purposes? We need advanced parole. So for Puerto Rico, no. But you never know. People again, the plane might go land outside the U.S. or coming back, there might be errors and stuff that get messed up. So we prefer people don't do that. But technically, Puerto Rico is America. So no. I filed I-485 with I-131. Now case status closed benefit by other means. What does that mean? Probably means your adjustment status was approved. So the I-130 is not necessary anymore. But I got to see it for myself. User 19 says, it's been 5 years. I filed my adjustment status, had 3 interviews already. I don't know what happened. They're probably some sort of accusing you of fraud and bad stuff. So you should have had a lawyer review it a long time ago after the first interview. Kerry says, adjustment status, standalone I-130 got approved today. Congrats. Do you recommend travel? Generally, I don't know. I can't recommend anything to you, but prefer you don't travel. But sometimes people have emergencies or big issues or family weddings they got to go to. I just can't give recommendations here to people because I don't know you, so I can't just come and give someone a recommendation. I might make a mistake because I don't know all your details. Bicho says, my visa, you going to be my green card? I don't know what that means. Luckily says, I applied for work permit on May 20th. How many days till I get it? There's no deadline. Baby Mindset says, 3 years since my SOM interview, no response. What should I do? You can file a lawsuit. Deanna says, how long is it for delay? Deanna says, how long does the application withdrawal take? I-6-1-30. If you're going to withdraw, it's not how long it takes. Just submit it. It doesn't really matter. How long it's going to take. You just put it in there and do your life. Okay, let's get some. We're going to pass the 30-minute mark probably. Let's get some Instagram questions in there. Laser says, after the interview, they wanted me to say I've never been married in my country. I sent it document. They don't answer for 1 year. That's a private consultation where they see what's going on. Azon says, hi, John. It's kind of 01. We already answered that. When can I apply for a green card for my marriage date? There's no timeline. You need to have if you're married, you can file, but I can't say file because I don't know the details. You might have certain issues that create problems, but there's no deadline or timeline or minimum time or anything like that. Okay. Mom was physically and verbally abusive. Can she apply anyway? I don't know. I got to review your case. Citizen Y says, can hepatitis B cause a green card? Hepatitis B is a class B issue. I don't even know why they put it as a class B because it doesn't affect your case. No, it shouldn't affect it, but it's class A medical stuff that's problematic. All right, let's take 2 or 3 more questions on TikTok and call it a day. Joseph says, I got deportation in 2019, coming back on 2020. I married my wife 11 years ago. You might have the permanent bar, Joseph. So that we have to see what's going on. If you have permanent bar, you're out of luck. You have to leave for 10 years. Okay. Tasha says, can a U.S. citizen parent file for adjustment of status for a child who's over 21? Adjustment of status is filed by the applicant, and if their case is current and they're lawfully in the United States and there's no other issues, they could file for adjustment of status on their own. But I don't know. I guess what's going on in your case. You're welcome, Karen A. Okay, let's go to one last question on TikTok. EB3. I have DACA. I did advanced parole. Marrying U.S. citizen. How long will it take to get a green card? 3 months to 2 years average. And Hannah says, can I apply for permanent residency with the withholding removal? Maybe. I'd need to review your case. We don't really handle withholding removal cases, but we'll have to take a look at it. All right, so that's the last question on that. How long does naturalization process really take? 3 months to 2 years. There's no really take. That's it. What is a provisional waiver? That's a 618 waiver for people who came and overstayed, so they go to the embassy and not have to wait as long. We'll leave it as that for TikTok. No more questions on TikTok. On YouTube, Mike Perez says, I married my wife in the Philippines 2 years ago. I've not been able to get my wife and kids on ITIN for tax purposes. Can you help us with that? No, accountants got to help you with that. When you file your taxes, you file a separate paperwork for ITIN. Just know that, and that's that. C user says, should you delay naturalization if your spouse and kid is still outside the U.S. waiting for a petition to be current? It depends on how old the child is. So because once you become a citizen, the child falls outside the case. And so it depends on where you are in the process and really how old the child is. So the child's already over 21. You don't want to get citizenship because they'll drop out of the case and fall within a longer category. But the child's like 15. You can file for citizenship. If you get citizenship before the child gets any old, like much older, you could turn around and do a separate case for the kid and speed it up by making expedite requests to what's called direct filing and fix it up. So it gets a little complicated, but it really depends on how old the child is. So you see where they fit within the math of it. We have questions about timelines. How long does this take nowadays? How long does it take? There's just no, how long is F2A cases? There's no answer. It changes probably 5 years, but it could be next year. It could be a year. Who knows? And how long is a green card approved? There's 50 different kinds of green cards. So these timeline questions are really answerable. As always, thanks for the comprehensive response, attorney. Thank you, CU. I appreciate it. And I guess thank you everyone on Instagram, on YouTube, TikTok, everywhere. Let's see. All right. So sorry, everybody. We got to go. Actively being reviewed by USC. What does that mean? It means you got to wait for them to get you done with your case. That's really it. Thank you, everyone. So I'll be back again next Tuesday, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. I'm immigration lawyer John Khosravi. Download our detailed guide, marriageimmigrationlaw.com. Again, that's marriageimmigrationlaw.com. If you want to just reach out, schedule a consultation, jqqlaw.com/contact, jqqlaw.com/contact. Until next one, God bless, be safe, and hope you have a good one. Bye-bye. Thanks, Mike.